Welcome to Goodbye Gluten.
Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel. Today we are making my husband's birthday celebration dinner. We are making spaghetti and mini meatballs for him, per his request. Let's get started. Now here's what you're going to need. And this varies based on family recipes, sometimes the mood I'm in. Today we have about 3/4 pound of lean ground beef, some ground sausage that was in the fridge and needed to be used up.
Jimmy Dean's.
Yeah. Always check and make sure there's no extra fillers or additives in your meats, just to make sure they do remain gluten-free. We have 1 egg, and then I will be adding some salt, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of onion powder, some white pepper, and some basil leaves, and a little drizzle of olive oil just because my hamburger is quite lean. First, I'm going to add my egg, drop it in there, and then add sprinkle, probably about a 1/2 teaspoon or so of the Italian seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, some ground white pepper, some basil leaves, then a good pinch of salt, about a teaspoon.
What kind of salt is that?
That is kosher salt. Then a drizzle of olive oil. Now you can, if you wanted to, add some breadcrumbs if you feel like that's something you want to add. I'm not adding those today. You can also use cracker crumbs. If you have leftover rice in your refrigerator that doesn't have any other seasonings and flavors. Shredded potatoes, like the hash brown stuff, you can use that. You can also use oats or ground oats. Now I've got my food gloves on, mostly because I don't want the fat all over my hands. And I'm going to just mix this in together. Okay, I'm done mixing. You can see everything's incorporated, but it's not mushy. I took off the one glove so that I can handle a spoon. And I'm just going to take and form small meatballs of similar size. Now you can make meatballs as big or small as you like. Again, this is mini meatballs. This is the request. It helps if your gloves actually fit your hands, but
Could you use 2 teaspoons?
you could. Or you could just use your bare hands.
I've tried that before and it made my hands all goopy. Because some of that fat just loves to stick to it.
I've made all the meatballs. I have a pan here on about a medium high with some olive oil in it. And now I'm going to put in a few of these at a time very gently so that they can brown. We'll finish them off in the sauce itself. You want to remember whenever you're working with raw meat to make sure you wash your hands and your utensils frequently. So whenever you're changing or doing anything, you want to make sure that you've washed your hands. And then once they're in, you just want to let them sit for a minute. So we'll cook these for 2 to 3 minutes. Basically, I want to get them brown on all sides. But again, you need to kind of, if they start sticking to the pan, you want to let them be. You can see here, these I can flip. We'll finish cooking these in the sauce. And some of them may break a little bit. That's okay. That's kind of what happens. That's the joy of meatballs. But as they've browned, they're still not completely done. If you notice, they're still a little bit pink. That's okay, because I'm just browning them. The browning is what gives them good flavor. I'm transferring them to a clean pan. Don't ever put your cooked meat back on top of your raw meat. That is asking to get sick. Now we'll move more of these over.
And repeat the process.
Repeat the process until they're all browned.
But that one's just happy to get in. He's like, let me in.
Into the bowl. You want to make sure you're not overcrowding your pan so you have room to move things around.
And how long would these ones cook
These
compared to the other
larger
ones?
ones are going to take 3 to 4 minutes to cook. Again, you really just want to get them all brown. Okay, we've got the last batch of meatballs coming out. And again, they're not fully cooked, so don't just chow down. And I'm going to set my pan of hot grease aside and burner off. Swap it to that. And now start working on building my sauce. Okay, now we're ready to start building our sauce. So I'm going to do 2 different types of sauce tonight because Greg likes the jarred stuff with a little zhuzhing and he likes garlic. The rest of us can't eat garlic, so we will make a garlic-free sauce. So for Greg's sauce, I'm going to use the ragu, a little bit of tomato paste, his pureed garlic,
Which will be in another video.
and then add in some additional spices. I'll be adding some ground white pepper, some basil, the last bit of onion powder, some Italian seasoning, and salt according to taste. For the rest of us, I'm going to use, instead of ragu and no garlic, I'm going to use some pureed tomatoes.
What brand is that?
This is the Gluten. Pretty much whatever brand of pureed tomatoes you like, you can use. If you want to puree your own, you can buy diced tomatoes or whole tomatoes and do it yourself. This is an easy shortcut, and there's no price difference between the whole tomatoes and these. And then I'll add some tomato paste and a little bit of water to thin it out. Right. So Greg's eating the ragu, so I've got about a half cup left in here. I'm going to add some water. Shake it up to clean out the jar. This stuff also makes really good pizza sauce if you're making homemade pizzas.
And you can also either get the kind with vegetables called chunky, or you chop up your own vegetables and throw them in, which I like to do that a lot.
Yeah, we're not doing that tonight. We're taking the easy route. I'm going to add about a little under half a can of the tomato paste. I'll put the rest of it over in this thing. So it is very common in our house to make a couple different versions of the same food for dinner due to food sensitivities and preferences. But everybody will be eating pasta for dinner. In Greg's container, this is his mushed up garlic stuff.
Mushed up garlic, no, it is oven roasted garlic puree.
Okay. So I'm going to put in about half a tablespoon.
Trust me, it'll kill any vampire within a mile.
Yes, it will. And I'm going
It smells
to
so
turn
good.
my burner to about a medium. Add some white pepper, some Italian seasoning, about a teaspoon.
I like mine with a lot of seasoning.
The basil. The nice thing with seasonings is, number one, I just get the Great Value brand for most of these. They're just as good as the expensive, and they're way less money.
So, like, if you have dollar stores, you can pick them up there. Winco's.
You still want to read your ingredients, make sure there's nothing added. And then I'm going to add a small pinch of salt. Once this is cooked and hot, Greg will taste it and confirm if it needs anything more.
Yeah, I've actually found, like, onion powders and garlic powders will actually have some wheat in it as, like, an anti-binding agent, which is like, ugh.
So, always read your labels when you're opening a can, opening a box or something. So now I'm just stirring the sauce to get the lumps and get everything blended together. I'm going to add in the teeny tiny little mini meatballs so they can finish cooking and so that their meat juices will go into the sauce.
Yeah. I love this lady so much. And if you guys want to, give us a recipe to try out, or you want to just say hi, always go ahead and leave stuff in the comments section, and we will get to you as soon as possible.
All right, I'm going to put a lid on it so that it comes up to temperature, and so you don't have spaghetti sauce all over your stove.
Oh yeah, and yourself.
And yourself. Yes, never make pasta wearing white. So here I'm going to put in the can of tomato puree. I'm going to get a little bit of water. Again, about a little over half a cup, and very gently swirl it to rinse it. And then pour it in. And now I'm going to go back to my spices. I'm going to add some white pepper, some onion. I'm going to add more salt to this one because there is no seasoning. This is just straight up tomatoes, so we'll start with a little more.
Do you do anything to cut down the acidity?
No. So just added the Italian seasoning and basil. Grab a different spoon because you do not want to garlic up your garlic-free sauce.
You can always add a small pinch of sugar to help with the acidity, though, if you think normal tomatoes are too acidic.
Adding the meatballs to this one. I'm going to go ahead and pour in all of those lovely meat juices.
It's almost like they were made to be together.
Almost. Something else you can do, because this will cut out some of the acidity, give it that long, slow cook, is pick up some of these yummy bits off the bottom of your meat and go ahead and add a little bit to your sauce. Because it's olive oil and ground meat. And then give this a gentle stir. If you like a thinner sauce, you can add more water. If you like a thicker sauce, you can add less water. We're going to leave this alone. Pop the lid on. And we'll come back and taste it once it is hot, because cold tomato sauce just doesn't have much of a taste. All right? Okay, so it's been a few minutes. This is very hot. I'm going to give this a little bit of a taste. Okay, so that needs a little bit more salt. A little bit more Italian seasoning. And what's left of our onion powder. Not very much.
And just
it's all to taste. It's all how you want it to taste. And gently stir, because remember we put the meatballs in. You don't want to stir it up too much, because then you'll break up your meatballs.
and have a tomato meat puree.
So I will turn this down a little bit. And again, put the lid back on. I have a large pot of water. I'm going to put it on high and bring it up to a boil. You want to make sure you've got a lot of water when cooking pasta. All right, our pot of water is at a good rolling boil. I'm going to add about a tablespoon, maybe 2 of salt. So this is how you season your water and season your pasta. And then we are using the American Beauty gluten-free corn and rice blend pasta. You can see, get the box open.
I went through many pastas
They're
to
thinner
taste.
spaghetti, and we're going to do the whole box, so I'm just sticking it all in.
And these are way better than all the other spaghetti pastas.
Just kind of stirring them down. And these will cook for about 7 minutes.
Al dente.
Okay, the pasta has been cooking for about 8 minutes. We're going to try the pasta. So pull out a strand. You can sometimes tell by pressing it, is it soft? Break it in half just by pressing it, or try a bite. If it's the chewiness that you like, the texture you like, then your pasta is done, and ours is done. So we'll drain it now in a colander.
no need to rinse.
No need to rinse. Do not rinse it.
Oh, look at all that. Yummy. Hot.
Now we will plate this up. He's giving me hand gestures behind the camera. Now we will put Craig's sauce on his pasta.
My birthday spaghetti pasta. My sister used to call me Geggy Spaghetti because I used to love spaghetti so much.
There you have it. Gluten-free pasta with meatballs.
Okay, now we're going to test the pasta. Hot. Oh my God. That is great sauce, great pot or meat.
Good?
That is extremely good.
Very good.
So, we want to thank you for watching. And remember this, saying goodbye to gluten.
Doesn't mean saying goodbye to great taste and great food. Have a good
great
evening.
day.